we're going to take a quick trip back in time to the old days of conservative rhetoric, both online and like on TV, in the newspaper, other forms of like, you know, social interaction and media and whatnot. It used to be that conservatives were extremely prude and anti-sex. They made an extremely open and strong political point of being extremely prude and anti-sex, while the left, opposingly, made it a point to be very pro-sexual liberation. The idea was, if you want to have sex, then do it as long as you're not hurting anybody else. You know, like, that's pretty much it, right? No matter with who, as long as you're not hurting anybody and it's consensual and all that good stuff, it's all good, right? Meanwhile, it's always been the right that has stood in contrast to that and has been trying to pull usually younger generations who want to be more sexually explorative back towards their more prudish beliefs. And that has always been like what spells doom for conservatives, right? Like, I mean, look at the stereotypes that have been around since like literally movies that have come out in the 60s. The idea is that young people are more like sexually active than the older people who are more conservative and prude, and the prudeness and the authoritarianism of older generations pushes those younger people further to the left, further away from them, because they're so, like, they try to push their beliefs onto their younger generation. That said, more recently, the right tried to get sexy. Does that make sense? The right tried to kind of put the whole sexual prudishness to the back burner and try to put up a front of, like, we're the cool right now. We're like, you know, here's Milo Yiannopoulos, you know, he's got style. Here's, you know, like, here's like they try to they get a bunch of like attractive young like blonde women usually to act as like pundits for them and whatnot. They tried to rebrand conservatism not as this thing that was made up of a bunch of grody old men who were judging Zoomers and, you know, were like sad and old and not hot anymore or whatever, but instead they wanted to put up a different front that, like, you know, it was a bunch of attractive people who reserved their attractiveness and weren't sexually promiscuous despite having that attractiveness and that opening up a lot of opportunities for them. That was basically the new route the right tried to take, and it was very effective. It was very effective at convincing Zoomers that actually these extremely sexually prudish, like, conservative values are actually super cool and based and hip. And a lot of Zoomers fell for it, particularly, like, you know, around the anti-SJW days. And, you know, about a year or so ago when we sort of entered this new age of conservative dominance online, that starts to fall apart pretty quickly, because that can only get people so far. You can only radicalize people into this, like, super sexual prudishness where they're anti... Like, you can't get someone to be fully anti-abortion, contraception, premarital sex, sodomy, which includes every form of sex that isn't penis to vagina. Like, you can't get somebody to that position without, like, seriously escalating your rhetoric. You can't keep... The euphemism has to melt away at a certain point. And when the right starts to melt away that euphemism, their true colors start to shine through and people start to be scared away, particularly young Zoomers who don't want their sexualities to be controlled and dictated by old dudes online, right? Like... So I think we're starting to see that right now. Recently, we've started to see a lot more of these right-wingers attacking popular, like, musicians and whatnot for, like, showing skin or having sexually explicit lyrics. If you remember when Ben Shapiro did his review of WAP, I feel like that was the peak of conservatives being lolcows online. Like, Ben Shapiro's WAP cover and the entire internet dunking on Ben Shapiro because of that. That was the peak of BreadTube. That was the peak of the left's dominance online. We're in the polar opposite of that right now. Do you see what I'm talking about here? That era was the left's dominant period online. I won't linger on this same point for too long. I want to get into why I think the right is starting to drop the euphemism, and they're starting to get a little bit more mask off with their insane prudishness around sex. So, the first tweet in question is one that went viral about a week ago. It was posted by this lady, Laura Logan, who tweeted, "Why is Walmart selling sex toys?" And it's the hygiene aisle where you got like razors and like soap and all sorts of other shit. And they've got condoms, and they've got, I believe this is like probably lube, like anti-spermicide lube, like spermicidal lube, and probably dick pills or whatever. I don't know. A bunch of condoms, KY jelly, shit like that. Like, this is the health and hygiene section, so obviously that's where that would be. And they also have sex toys next to the condoms and lube. So, if you're sane, you would see this and be like, that's also, I think I've used this soap before. That's funny. Anyway, that said, like, it's weird that they're freaking out about this, because I feel like any sane person just walking through Walmart would see this and just be like, yeah, who cares? Or maybe even just get a chuckle out of it. Like, one of my favorite replies is, better yet, why is it so close to the kids' merchandise? Like, do you think kids know what a butt plug is? Do you think kids know what a vibrator is? They don't know what these things are. It's just a store for buying things that you might use. The problem isn't that they're selling these in the open for kids to see. That's not the issue they have with it. The problem is that these things are sold at all. Sex toys and anything that, like, allows you to have better sex, whether it be lube, like good condoms, or like condoms at all, I guess, or spermicidal lube, anything like that. They consider all these things degenerate. They want all of this banned. This entire, all the things in this aisle would be banned in a conservative America. Condoms, lube, vibrators, and butt plugs. Like, all these things they consider degenerate and should be a crime to even own in their mind. When you've got, like, 6,000, how many was it? Yeah, 6,600 conservatives liking that tweet. It may not surprise you to find out it's very likely that most conservatives are very bad at sex and do not do a very good job of pleasing their sexual partners. And, you know, that's unfortunate for them, because sex is fun, and it's particularly fun when both parties are having the best time possible. Next, though, I want to feature a tweet from Hot Masculinity Takes, and we're going to be the Hot Masculinity Takes tweet is like a screenshot of another tweet, which was posted by an account simply called Eric, which got an astounding 7,000 likes in this, by the way. And it says the following: Men, a man who moans during sex is an effeminate man or even a white knight. He probably licks the perineum too. So I guess, yeah, these guys are against eating pussy. A driver doesn't talk when driving. It is the car that squeaks and squirts. Leave moaning and screaming to women. Conquer and dominate her. Hashtag Masculinity Saturday. So the idea behind this is literally just, fellas, is it gay to enjoy sex? That's literally what it is. Loud grunting only? No, these motherfuckers expect you to say stay dead silent during sex. Listen, I will say that, like, my default is to be silent during sex outside of, like, me, like noises I make from exerting force. I guess, like, from exerting a lot of energy and force. But, like, I like, other than that, like, I don't moan or, like, grunt or anything naturally. Like, that's not my, like, go-to response when fucking, like, no matter how hard or good it feels. But, like, I could do that if that's what's preferred. But generally speaking, every woman that I've ever spoken to does not like when a guy is dead silent while fucking. Like, that's a pretty consistent thing. A lot of women do not like when guys are dead silent while fucking. Some guys don't want a guy to moan while fucking, but, like, overall, this is such a bizarre, like, standard to have. Like, men, do not moan while having sex. Do not eat pussy. This is effeminate. This makes you a simp. It is gay to enjoy sex with a woman. And finally, I want to go over a tweet, well, it's technically a video, but it's a tweet containing a video, that I feel like perfectly highlights how this mindset is actually affecting a lot of young people, surprisingly. Contrary to what I said about how I think that this stuff's going to cause a lot of younger people to be repelled by the right, some young people seem to be falling for it, because the No Jumper podcast, the podcast we're about to watch a clip from, is watched by a lot of Zoomers. Let's go ahead and watch this clip. This is from a popular podcast.
Well, maybe not,
that's not
but
true.
you could get it wet.
Yeah,
you could
that's not true.
slobber on it a little
A
bit.
pussy's just like an open wound. It's a gaping hole in a woman's body.
Yeah. And that's why I hate when women are like, I give head all the time and these dudes don't want to eat pussy or whatever. It's like, listen, it's not the same.
No.
If I stuck this lighter in my mouth right now, which I won't, that would be like sucking a dick. Licking a vagina is like a pit of mucus and fleshy tissue and
Baby,
Remember, these guys think they're straight.
please come out of there.
periods and
But to
pee
insinuate
and
that the lighter is just like a
squirt.
dick, that's a big.
I'm just saying, it's like it's not the same. Well, maybe not.
That's not.
If these guys eat ass, you know for sure they're gay. Find me a clip of them admitting they eat ass, and we know they're gay. If they're disgusted by eating pussy, but they'll eat ass, they're gay. I'm sorry, it's that simple. I make the rules here. I made that rule. I've dictated that to be true. Listen, conservatives are not only bad at sex, but they demonize it, and a world in which they are in control would be one without sex. Have you ever seen that one Ninja Sex Party music video, 6969? They make the time-traveling spaceship, and they go back to they go into the future year of 6969, where they're hoping that like everyone's each other and it's awesome, but in reality it's like this conservative, prudish, like dystopian future where the dick elders have subjugated everybody to a world of no sex, and so they have to fight the council of dick elders who have become corrupt. I don't know why I'm explaining this, but it would literally be that music video. That's all I have to say on this.